Origi! Yeah! Unbelievable!
Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Way podcast. It was a somewhat patchy performance, but we've just beaten Burnley 3-1 at Anfield to go back to the top of the league. The front three all got on the score sheet as another inspired Harvey Elliott cameo off the bench got us going in the second half. I'm Dave Usher, editor at liverpoolway.co.uk, and I'm joined for this by just one of the lads, as the rest are either driving home, in the pub, relaxing on the Florida Keys, or in Paul's case, probably tucked up in bed as it's 8 o'clock. Thankfully, Jules is here, otherwise it'd just be me talking about Darwin's header for an hour and a half, and nobody needs to hear that. Alright then, Jules. From my point of view, I didn't enjoy that. I was stressed out for most of the game. Never really felt like we had any control over it until the third went in, and then after that, it was fine. But how did you see it?
Were you stressed?
Yeah, I was. Me and John were both stressed. No, stressed. At the
were you
point
winding
where,
each other up?
No, I just couldn't get comfortable. Because I never felt like we were safe. You know, we got we went 1-0 up and then ended up giving that away. It's 1-1, and it just, we never looked right. And then we go 2-1, but then they have those chances, and it's like, you know, loads of players missing, and then you lose Trent, so you've got Curtis playing right back, and it's just a bit of a makeshift looking team at times. No, I wasn't comfortable at all. And then I thought, in hindsight, I thought we played all right second half. It was okay, but it was only when the third goal went in that I was able to just do the Admiral Akbar and just slump back in my seat and
go. I don't think I was. I didn't feel like that. I wasn't on edge. And yet, this team is not like the team that the other Klopp team where you think, oh, we're going to get a goal. There's goals in this team. It did look like we weren't very coherent for large parts of it.
Yeah.
So I can see why you felt like that. I didn't feel like that. We scored. I thought the first half was just proper, stuck in the mud, turgid stuff. I'm not sure what the reason for that would. It could be the personnel changes, or we're just lacking in personnel. It could just be a bit of low energy because of the Arsenal result. It could be the flu bug that's been knocking around the squad. It could be any of those things, but that first half was just a slog. But amazingly, I thought it was nailed on to go in 0-0 at half time, and just the second half changes do their magic that usually happens. But we scored, which I didn't expect to happen. And then when Burnley equalised, it didn't come out of nowhere, because they to be fair to Burnley, they played some fairly decent stuff for an away team at Anfield of their stature, because a lot of other teams don't try to play that way. And they got a goal, and it was poor from our point of view. Really bad defending. You can't leave someone unmarked like that. But in the second half, I don't know. I just didn't feel like Burnley aren't the sort of team that are gonna go away and get a big result. That they've just shown that over the season. That's just not them. They're just not capable of doing it. So however much better I thought we would get, I never thought Burnley would ever be capable of holding on and taking a result at Anfield. Now, if we'd have played like this at Turf Moor, then maybe they could have got a home result, but an away result, nah, I didn't think so. So the second half was better, as you say, and I did enjoy the second half more, but I was never on edge, to be honest with you. Maybe it's just I finally become like someone who just completely not underestimates, but just completely swats away the notion that opposition teams like that can come to Anfield and do anything but lose. I don't know, but it won't be a game. It won't be a game that I'll remember for a long time, I don't think. Despite the fact it was 3-1, and there were some decent goals in it. The second half, there were some decent goals, and you had to really love the joy from Darwin from scoring the third. In technical terms, that is the match winner, because it did put the game to bed. That was the game done. The 2-1. There were people in the ground who were nervous, and of course, with only one goal, they could score, and we could drop the points. So that was technically the match winner, but he thoroughly enjoyed the celebration, and it was a good goal.
Just South American passion. Love
Well, I don't think I'd feel the same way if an Arsenal player scored a 3-1, but make it 3-1. But I take your point. It is that like passion. Um,
Yeah, but theirs wouldn't be a passionate celebration. It'd be something fucking
be a
cringy.
fake passion.
That's the
Fake
problem.
passion.
This is like the
Yeah.
point that people are missing. I'd get this out the way now because I was going to talk about the Arsenal thing. May as well
Go on
just
then.
do it now. You've segued into it there. So all week, there's like people been arguing about it, and you know, I just feel like too many people are missing the point when they're like, well, they've got every right to celebrate. What's wrong? Other people celebrate.
Celebration,
No
please.
problem with Arsenal celebrating whatsoever. It's the way you do it. And everything about them just makes me cringe. That's like the top and bottom of it. It's like that Odegaard thing with the camera. That's, you know when that is? That's something that you do when you've just won a trophy in a final, and everyone's
Yeah.
just like being dickheads afterwards because you're just so like over the moon. That's not something you do after a league win. But it's pure.
No, I agree.
It's pure Arsenal behaviour. That's the problem. That's why people, and it's not even like, oh, Liverpool fans are having a go at Arsenal. Everyone's having a go at them. The whole country's laughing at Arsenal for the over celebrating, and Arsenal don't get it. They're like, why can't we celebrate? Everyone else celebrates. What's the problem? Well, the problem is the way you do it. It's fucking pure cringe. And Arteta stealing like the Klopp celebration. Do your own thing. He's entitled to celebrate in front of his fans. No problem. But do your own thing. Don't be fucking stealing Klopps when you've just beaten us, because that just makes you look like a twat. And the rest of it, it's pure cringe. So
Yeah,
that's out the way. So you can crack on now.
Yeah, it's the sort of like, oh, you're being the celebration police. It's not that. You're right. It's like how natural it is, the context, all that kind of stuff feeds into it. But yeah, that was Arsenal last week. But I thought like Darwin's was like natural, just pure joy, relief, whatever you want to call it, mixed together, scoring that goal. So even though there was some decent goals in it, it's just. Yeah, I think as well, maybe this is just me projecting my own feelings, but I felt it was a little bit flat
Oh, it
because
was flat.
because we lost last week.
Agree. We said
And
that
Manchester
last time.
and Manchester City won just before the game. You know, I never thought they'd be in doubt them beating Everton. I really didn't. And then you know, Everton took it to the 70th minute, and you get, even though you know there's not, you still can't help yourself from hoping. It's just a reflex reaction. And so you know you get that little bit of hope when they score, and you go fucking at the top of the table again.
Yeah, but we knew that was coming because
Yeah,
of
it
fucking
still doesn't.
John.
Yeah, well, yeah,
It's
John.
completely on John.
On John, he is.
And
Yes.
how is he making that mistake? So we're outside the chippy, and like I got there last, and like no one had really mentioned Man City, and I think it was like we're all aware of it that the game's 0-0, and no one's really saying anything. And John's looking at his phone, and he goes, Man City haven't had a shot on target yet. And every one of us looked at him like, what the fuck are you doing, John? Why would you say that? And it was less than 60 seconds later, wasn't it, that they scored? I'm like,
It was
completely on John. How is he making that mistake? He knows better. Better than to do something like that.
And then to add to the comedy of that, we're walking up to the ground and we get to like the other side of Stanley Park before you get up to the King Harry. And Paul goes, oh, fucking rip off. I'm like, what's the matter? He goes, City have scored. I'm like, I know, we all had a conversation about it down there. And he's like, oh, I thought you were just taking the piss out of John because they finally had a shot. It's like, no.
Oh my God.
No, they scored. No, I said I've made my peace with it in the brief walk from the chippy to here, but no, he'd missed out. He'd missed the point.
I didn't know that. No, I was in deep conversation with Rennie about the traitors.
Oh, Traitors UK or Traitors Australia?
Traitors UK, but I'm getting them onto the Aussie one because I've just started watching it. So
I'm surprised you could stomach the Aussie one with your dislike of Ange.
Oh,
Big Ange.
God, I proper hate him. He rubs me up the wrong way.
Well, he made some pertinent points about the stupid blue card thing at his press conference yesterday. But back to the game. So yeah, I don't know if like because we'd lost last week and because City had just won and gone back top of the table, albeit for a few hours after we won, it just feels like even when we're singing Liverpool top of the league, it's a little bit.
I can't get on board with that because we're not.
No,
really,
I can't. It's not really, no. And it's like it's a little bit of. I get it. It's like maybe a little bit of defiance, than anything else. But yeah, it just feels that feels a little bit forced to me
Yeah,
from my point of view. But
yeah.
whether it is or not, it's not for me to say. But I can't get on board with it either. I sort of go, we are, but we're not really, are we? Until games at level, until games in hands are level, I won't be singing that shit.
Yeah. So
So I
you
think,
said about it being flat. Like I feel the same. But do you think that was the players? Because I was more talking about just like the place in general, like the atmosphere, rather than the players being flat because of that. But you thinking all of it?
it's difficult to know how much the flu bug affected the flu bug that's been
Yeah.
in the squad this week, who's been ill,
Late
because
changes and stuff.
yeah, it doesn't take much. They've got the best medical services they can get access to, as opposed to the rest of us who just have to suffer through it. So they can get the fluids on board, they can get whatever treatments needed, try and get you back feeling like a human as quickly as possible. But it is just like fact that if you've got a heavy cold, or if you've got the flu. I mean, I had the flu a few years ago. I couldn't get out of bed. But if you've got a heavy cold or the flu, you can't really exercise. The last thing you should be doing, really, because it just completely drains the body. So if someone's had it in the start of the week and is now playing, it's entirely possible that contributed to it. But it's weird. We seem to fluctuate from like having a full squad to a base squad week
Yeah.
on week.
And it's
Like the
happened
other
really
week,
quickly. It's like, how have we ended up with like Kumas on the bench? Like,
yeah.
where's this come from? It's weird.
Like the other week, we had like a murderer's row bench, and you're looking at it going like, "Phew, okay, yeah, that's the stuff." You're making the sort of Dennis face from It's Always Sunny, like, "Ooh, yeah, that's the stuff." And then you look in today, and as you say, it's like bare bones, two keepers, again, including like a keeper, a youth team keeper. You're like, what's
Yeah.
going on here? It's weird because I can't. And then I was trying to look in the match, and like, oh, well, who's out? So like, Kanate's out, Thiago's out again.
Yeah.
Soboslai's out, Mo's out, Gomez is out. Um,
Matip,
who else?
Bajetic.
I, yeah, I like Bajcetic probably, and well, no, because Thiago has no, Thiago has come back, I suppose. But like Bajcetic and Thiago, I sort of they've dropped into the Springfield mystery hole with like Daryl Strawberry or whatever. Like I can't remember, or is it Ozzy? I can't remember. Whichever one from the Simpsons has fallen into the mystery hole. Like I don't know where they've gone, but that doesn't inspire sort of confidence, I suppose. If you're having an iffy first half and you're looking at the bench, you're going like, "Well, there's not a lot on there."
It's basically it was Harvey, wasn't it?
It
Because
was Harvey and
nothing against
Gakpo.
Gakpo, but I
Oh,
don't
right,
look at
okay.
Gakpo as a game changer. I look at Harvey as like, okay, and you know,
He did well when he came on,
yeah.
to be honest, as
But
well.
we were
Yeah.
saying this at half time, like how flat it was, and I felt like coming off last week's performance, I really thought like we'd come out flying, and we didn't. And like looking at it now, yeah, there's probably reasons for that, like what you've just mentioned. Disrupted training week, people with the flu, some of them maybe not completely at it today. Late changes, all of that stuff comes into it. Plus the fact, I don't know what, like, we might have thought that Burnley were going to play differently than they did, because Burnley normally just play out from the back, and that's where most of the goals conceded come from. It's like they're just
Yeah.
doing stupid shit. They didn't do it like, at all today. They went long and then played in our half, which was like,
Really long if the keeper was holding the ball, because
yeah,
he took forever to get rid of it.
that's another story. But yeah, I just felt like there was it, and this is the opposite to what Klopp said, because Klopp said afterwards we were in too much of a hurry. But we were all saying at half time, this is just
Too
slow and
slow.
ponderous as fuck.
Yeah.
And not just like with the ball, with the passing and stuff. It was even just, I'm not digging Trent out here, but Trent's like a good example of what we were talking about. The amount of time that it was taking for, if we had a corner or like we had a throw in down by the corner flag, and we're just ambling over to take it. There was no
Yeah.
like, right, we've got a bit of momentum, the crowd's like up here, that we've just forced a corner, let's get on with it. It was all like just slow, and it just sucked all the life out of the game. So Klopp saying afterwards, yeah, we were in too much of a rush. I'm like, really? That's like the exact opposite to what we were all thinking. Because
Well,
we were all like
he
saying
was
at
in a
half
rush.
time, get Harvey on, because
Yeah.
we need to lift the tempo, and he's the tempo setter who you can bring on, and he does everything in a hurry and gets everyone just doing things quicker, and that's actually what ended up happening.
Well, Klopp seemed to be in a rush because he got himself a yellow card for a complaint about a foul on Robbo, which I don't think
No,
we were ever going to
he
get.
thought it was a penalty on Jota.
Yeah, Oh, was it? Yeah, I didn't. Sorry, it was a Jota, but
Yeah, it was
whatever
Jota.
it
Yeah.
was, it didn't look like a
No,
penalty to
not
me.
for me either.
I didn't think the referee had a very good game.
Who was he? Who was the ref?
I'll have to look it up.
Because
Let
me
me
and
look it
John
up.
didn't know who he was. We felt like he was.
He was keen with the yellow cards, though. I can tell you
You
that.
know when he gave that one at the start, when their player was like he kicked the ball onto the pitch to slow us down, and the
Yeah,
ref was right onto it, and I was like, you know what, that's brilliant refereeing that, because it's early in the game, but that it was the lad who scored actually, the O'Shea. He
yeah,
knew exactly what he was doing. Like, we'd picked up another ball to get the game started, and he ran back on the pitch with the ball that had just gone out of play, and he just left it on the pitch, knowing that the game would have to be stopped. And the ref was right on it immediately and booked him. And I'm like, yeah, okay, good start, ref, nice one. And then he was just letting the goalkeeper take as long as he wants. And like, the goalkeeper was just walking to the corner of the box every time.
yeah.
He wasn't even kicking it from the middle of the box. He was waving everyone up, taking his time, and then slowly walking across the box so he'd kick it from the corner. And the referee was just letting him do it. So I thought that's what Klopp was kicking off about at first. But there was like, Jota's gone down in the box, and then the goalkeeper's time wasting, and I thought he can't be kicking off over that penalty, because that wasn't a penalty. Yeah, there's contact, but you're not going to get a pen for that.
No.
So that surprised me. But I thought that he must have been on about like the time wasting. But he said afterwards, they asked him about the yellow card. It's quite funny because they said, like, do you accept the yellow card? And he was like, is there any way I can not accept it? Have I got a choice to not accept it? And they're like, no, what I mean is, do you accept it was the right decision? And like, he didn't say it was or it wasn't. But the game started, and I looked at the ref, I'm like, who's that? And I thought, is that my boy Cavani?
Tim Robinson.
Right, okay, I've never heard of him. And I was like, no, it's
I've
not.
heard of Jim Robinson.
Yeah. John was like, it's Michael Oliver. I'm like, no, it's not. And then
No.
like, he got a bit closer to us. I'm like, yeah, I don't know who it is. But he looks like 4 or 5 different refs have just been put in a blender, and he's what's come out, because there was bits and pieces of different refs that like he looked like. But no, I've never even heard of him. Tim Robinson.
Yeah, go to the
No.
Premier League website.
Yeah, he wasn't great, was he?
No, and like as I've
But neither were we.
stated. No, but as I've like stated like many times, I don't blame referees for any of that kind of stuff. But I don't think he had a good game today. I think they were. It's always difficult because I'm like in row 40 of the Cop. I'm not on the pitch where the referee is, so I accept that he can see things better than me. But it seemed to be that like tussles over the ball, Burnley would fall over and they'd get a free kick, but we'd fall over and we'd get nothing. It was very hard for us to get something. And there was one on Darwin, I think it was in the second half, and it was just like not a free kick for my money. It was just like an honest go at the ball, but it was everything was a free kick. And yeah, and I mean, I suppose he was equitable in that he gave Company and Klopp yellow cards, which is not something you see all the time.
No.
Both referees, usually if they both get a yellow card, they're arguing with each other. But
Yeah.
that wasn't the case for either of them.
If both
So that-
managers are getting a yellow card for complaining at the referee, it kind of tells you the ref's probably not had a great game when both of them are pissed off at him.
It's like the old story. It's like the scene from Justified when Raylan's got the guy in the car and he goes, "If you run into an asshole in the morning, you've run into an asshole. But if you keep running into assholes all day, you're the asshole." And it's just
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, if you're giving cards to both managers at different points of the game, and maybe your decision making isn't the greatest.
Yeah.
And like do you know what though? I accept all that. I don't actually. It doesn't actually bother me. I just even in the moment it's like, well, this ref's not having a great game. But I wasn't getting irate at the referee. It just is what it is. It's part of the game. I didn't like the V.
It was only the time wasting, the mistakes and decisions that I can live
do you know
with. but
what?
The time
Yeah.
wasting. You got to do something about it. You can't.
But
just
well,
keep
that we
letting that
did.
go.
We had to wait for 8 minutes in the second half to go home.
Yeah.
Because we had 8 minutes of extra time. But that in itself is stupid. Because again, how many
Where did
times
that
have we
come
said?
from? Where the 8 minutes?
I assume. Well, there was a bit of there was an injury, wasn't there? There was a Burnley injury they had to get the physio on for. There were a couple of goals, a few subs, so and then maybe some time wasting thrown in. But it's what we've always said. If you just book the goalkeeper, you warn him and go, do that again, I'm going to book you. There's not going to be any debate. And then he does it again and go, right, I'm booking you. And if you do it again, I'm going to send you off. Do you want to be sent off for that? And it stops instantly. And yet somehow there's some unwritten law in football that's like, Can't do that. Can't book him early.
I think the refs are told you don't book the goalkeeper in the first half because it's not down to any individual referee. They are all exactly the same. They all do it.
And all I can think is that they've got a sort of directive, a hidden directive that says don't book the goalkeeper because the odds on them being sent off are much higher, and then you'll be accused of ruining the game as a spectacle over some fussy shit.
Because if you book a goalkeeper in the first half for doing what Trafford was doing today, chances are he's going to do it again because he's probably going to think he's not going to book me again. And then you're putting yourself in a position where you kind of have to because you've already done it once. You can't then let it go, so you do have to send them off. So I agree. I think the referees, it's like a directive where they've all been told you're making a problem for yourself if you book the keeper in the first half. So don't do it.
Yeah, don't fall into the shit trap.
It never happens, does it? They never ever do it. They usually wait till about 80 minutes, 84 minutes, and then.
I don't think he booked him though, did he?
No, because we were 3-1 up, so he wasn't time wasting in the last 10 minutes then. Yeah. If they'd have got level at 2-2, the time wasting would have been off the fucking charts.
And then there was like the VAR check as well on the goals, and like the first one, I even from the opposite side of the ground, I thought there was a little bit of thing. I thought there's no way that there should be a VAR any sort of check on this thing because it's just gonna because they took ages to get back to the centre. Like I think what happened was didn't get to a full VAR check, but he was listening to what they were saying, just hang on a second, no, it's fine, just carry on.
Checking to see if there was a foul on the keeper when he just totally flapped it. There was none of our players were near him.
Yeah, exactly. And then the second goal, I mean, initially there was a foul in the build-up on McAllister, unless they were trying to say it was a foul, because I think again
Burnley kicked each other. That was one that I didn't know.
I don't think you can give it.
No, you just let that go. The ref seen it and played on, so you couldn't pull it back for that. But I did wonder if Harvey was offside.
He didn't look it from where. Yeah, like you can usually, if you're not side on, you can usually sense that anyway, even if you're not looking at the full line of the pitch. But he never looked like he was off to me.
So I didn't even celebrate that. John did, but I was saying to John, I was like, I don't know. It looked like because he was coming back, and then I just wasn't sure. And the check took a while.
Yeah, which means they must have been closer than I thought.
Close, yeah.
Yeah, but like I wasn't quite a fan of Burnley sort of. We're not going to give the ball back to the centre circle. We're going to leave it down the centre of the pitch because we think that's not going to be a goal either. And again, the referee's a little bit weak there. It's like, no, you'll go and put it back on the centre spot until it's ruled out. Otherwise, it's going to be a goal. But yeah, I don't know. Again, he didn't have. I don't want to talk about the referee all game, but
just one more point on him then.
Well, go on.
I didn't like this, and then later on, I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. He let the Burnley players celebrate for fucking ages. We were waiting to start the game, and he did nothing to bring them back. And I was fucking fuming. I was like shouting, and then Darwin took forever to get back after his goal. He even turned round and had another little go back with the crowd.
He did,
back. And he'd already been booked. And I'm like, if the ref wants to be a twat now, he could just book him for time wasting and send him off. So at least he was consistent with that. So I'll take back all the shit that I yelled at him in the first half for that.
How many times though do you have to take back the shit you've yelled at officials?
Quite a bit. Not referees usually, but usually the linesmen are usually proving me wrong.
So why do you keep yelling is the question?
Because in the moment I think I'm right. But I'm a big enough man to say afterwards, you know what? No, I got that one wrong. Yeah, you've done a good job.
You're like Jerry Orbach at the end of Dirty Dancing. When you're wrong, you say you're wrong.
Never seen it. Never will see it.
Oh, you're going to tell me you haven't seen Roadhouse next?
I've seen Roadhouse.
Oh, that's all right then.
Which Dirty Dancing, but no, I've seen Roadhouse. Of course I've seen Roadhouse.
It's the perfect after match of the day Saturday night movie. Like in your teens or whatever, you'd be like sat off and watch match of the day, and then you go, fucking hell, Roadhouse is on next. Here we go. I'm not going to bed early. I'm going to be watching some Roadhouse. I suppose
we should talk about the goal in a little bit.
Yeah,
more
let's drop back. I haven't seen a replay of the goal, so why are you talking about it? I'm just gonna have a quick look.
I seen a little replay of it before. The keeper's just completely flapped at it, and it's a free header for Jota. He's right place, right time. But that goalkeeper's been getting loads of rave reviews all season, and when you watch Match of the Day, he is making like loads of saves every week, but he's always looked dodgy as fuck on crosses to me, and that was really poor. Like, but they scored from a corner as well, and as usual, I always ask myself, would Alisson have saved that? I don't think Queve's got any chance of saving that. It's a great header. It's like looked like it was right in the top corner, but I've not seen it from behind the goal, so I don't know exactly where it went in.
No, I agree with you. I never look. It just looked like a great, a classic,
Yeah,
corner header. Like a bad marking,
yeah,
but poor marking. But like you can't knock the because it's funny because he's the fellow who got booked earlier on
yeah.
for the leaving the ball, and when it came up on the screen, his name, I thought that's like one of the most Irish names you can have there. Fair fucking play, Dara O'Shea. He's scoring like that. Yeah, no, there's no chance. I'm just looking at it now. There's no chance it goes
Yeah.
right in the top
And
corner.
he's
But
made
you cut.
two big saves as well today, Kelleher.
Yeah,
Two like really important saves.
I think looking at it, it hits the side netting of the goal as well. So it's not even. Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
nothing
it's a
you can
great
do
header.
about that.
Mm.
But it is really poor defending. You can't like he's about 14 yards out.
Yeah,
You shouldn't be letting someone from 14 yards out score like that.
yeah.
Which is unusual because we're really good defensively from set pieces.
We are, yeah. I
Um,
usually think there's more chance of us scoring from the other team's corner than them scoring.
I used to
They're
think
so good on the breakaways and that.
I used to think that. I don't think that
No,
anymore.
I
I
still
feel
do.
like
We've still got that in us. When Darwin's in the team we have, you take
now if
Darwin
Diaz
out,
has
forget
played
it.
a pass to him though.
Oh, that was so bad. Like, how he did not see him. And, well, he must have seen him. There's no way he's not seen him. How he didn't play that pass is just... And, like, Darwin was, like, proper pissed off. But I don't think he was that pissed off at the time. But, like, I was watching and it looked like he was like, shouting to Diaz, like, why didn't you pass it to me? And Diaz just fucking blanked him. He didn't,
Ah,
like, turn and, like, acknowledge it and just say,
yeah.
sorry, I should have played it. And then Darwin was proper pissed and McAllister had to come over and just, like, have a little word to him and say, all right, just leave it, get your head back in the game. But, yeah, that was... Do you know what? I'd be lying, though, if I said that there wasn't a part of me that was, like... Oh, don't pass it to him, because if he misses, I'm going to have to fucking come on and defend it. So he passes to Jota, and I'm like, okay, if Jota scores, this is the perfect scenario for me, really. But Jota doesn't score. But yeah, you've got
He
to
missed the
play that
one-on-one in the
pass.
second half, didn't he?
I know, and the thing with that, the first touch is fucking incredible.
It
When
was,
a
yeah.
high ball coming out the air, and he's took it, and it's perfectly in his stride. It's a fucking brilliant, world-class touch. And then he just hits it straight at the keeper again. That's the Achilles heel, is like that particular type of chance. For all the talk about his finishing and this, that, and the other, it's not. His finishing is okay. It's not.
One-on-ones.
A lot of it's not bad luck, but that is the big Achilles heel. Is one-on-ones. Not so much when he's running like wide and he can hit a shot across the goal. He's decent with them. It's central one-on-ones. And if you compare him with Mo in them situations never ever misses. Mo is like so deadly in those like running through the middle 1v1 with the keeper. I'd say, why don't you just take him under your wing and just do like 15 minutes at the end of every training session where you just do them all the time against Alisson? Because if you can do it against Alisson, you can do it against anyone.
You can subscribe to the Liverpool Way podcast on all the major platforms, whether it's Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon or Podbean. Just search for the Liverpool Way, leave us a review and hit subscribe to automatically receive all new episodes. You can also head to liverpoolway.co.uk and grab a TLW season ticket for just £3 a month. There's tons of exclusive content, including match reports from every Liverpool game, weekly Premier League roundups, the TLW diary and access to the members-only forum. Lastly, you can follow us on social media at The Liverpool Way on Twitter and at The Liverpool Way TLW on Instagram and Facebook.
He had. You speak about bad luck. There was a brilliant move in the second half that he kept the cross goal, and the keeper made an absolutely tremendous save.
Yeah, he was offside though.
Yeah, but the other week you were counting the offsides and the pings of the bar, so it doesn't really matter. But he doesn't know he's offside at that point either. So that's my point. Is that it's irrelevant that he's offside
Yeah.
because he doesn't know. And that was like a quality bit of football. And again, just a excellent set of worldy save from the
Yeah.
goalkeeper. And like, what can you do in that situation?
No, he's done everything right there apart from stay on side. But he started. The thing is, the exact same thing happened with Gakpo. Like when he came on, he made the exact same run, and the cross just doesn't come at the time when so you're sprinting to get past the defender into an area, and you need the cross to come while you're still on side. And the cross is like a fraction late, so he's offside with the shot. The other one, I think Gakpo didn't get it. I think the defender cut it out, but Gakpo would have been offside as well. So it's just about getting the timing right on those. But yeah, we've jumped ahead of ourselves there. So we get to half time. Trent goes off. None of us have got any idea what the problem is. Turns out it's the knee injury. That I assumed it was flu. Yeah,
we have said that obviously Burnley scored just before halftime in an injury, which is again.
I didn't realise it was that late, but
that
then,
late,
the board went up after the goal went in, didn't it? The board went up for 3 minutes because they took like a minute to get back. Because I'm looking at the clock and I'm saying to John, this fucking prick better had that full minute on. So I bet he blows up on 48 and he's not adding it on. He added it on, so again, fair enough. I think it was to the exact second because it was about 54, 55 seconds. It was. That was how long it took for them to get back, and he added on like the exact amount. So,
but again,
enough.
it's utterly deflating to have that just before half. We haven't played well, so all right, fair enough. But just before half time to concede a goal like that is just like it sort of talk about putting a pin in the balloon and popping it. That was just the absolute worst. And again, you're not feeling great about it because of what happened last week. And I never thought we'd have a reaction game where like we would tonk Burnley 4-5-0. I just didn't feel like that would happen. I feel like what's going to happen now is that we need to build up a head of steam again. So we're going to have some proper shonky performances, and it's just all about the results.
12:30 at Brentford next week.
I know. Is Konate out for one game?
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, he's back for that.
Yeah, that's already filling me with dread. But it's like building up a head of steam, and then you need just hit your peak performance just in time for that Man City game. Kind of like how they talk in American sports about like timing your run in the playoffs. You don't want to be good at the end of towards the end of the regular season. You need to just sort of pace yourself so that you're hitting your stride as you get into the postseason and then into the championship game. It's because that is the championship game at the moment for us this season. You have to win, and you have to win every game until then. So it's just about gathering results, putting it back together, getting the squad fit, and then hitting that so that sweet spot performance comes against Manchester City. If you can get all those wins racked up, the momentum will start flowing again. The belief will start, and then that game, that could be, it could be a title decider. Yeah. But we have got some like proper iffy games between now and then. Not like on paper they should be okay. Brentford
12:30 in theory does look like ugh.
It does, and it's away, and we lost. We lost it away last year. Have we won there yet since they've come up?
I think we've won. I think we've won once.
Yeah, but I think that's it though. We've lost quite a few times there.
We had a 3-3 draw, I think, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Obviously, we lost there last year.
Yeah, we giving away stupid goals from set pieces.
Well,
it feels like that fucking Wisser scores against us all the time, and then does his little fucking sit down yoga celebration. I've got a totally irrational hatred of him, and it's purely just because he scored against us and did that celebration. It's just embedded in my brain.
Is that irrational? That sounds fairly rational to me, to be honest.
Yeah, I suppose. No, but it's any time when Brentford are playing and like I'm watching them, I'm getting like Nam style flashbacks of that, and it shouldn't be bothering me really because I don't even know. Did we win the league that year, or was that the year we won the league?
I don't know, but can you tell me what the name of the guy who Frimpong who played for Arsenal was? That's the question.
Yeah, I know.
You can remember that, but you can't remember when we were.
That's what we were saying before the game. The amount of random shit that like you can remember, and then important stuff that you can't forget. I can't believe I remembered Frimpong's first name, and then he got a red card against us, 10, 12 years ago, something like that.
At least now,
shouldn't be remembering shit like that, and there's important stuff that it's just gone out my brain.
Forgot what we're talking about.
Exactly, that's my point. But what's the first name of Frimpong who played for Arsenal?
Emmanuel.
You say you remember that, but you can't remember what you were talking about 5 seconds ago.
I can't. I genuinely can't.
I can't either.
Okay.
Let's just
go to
something about memory. We were talking about Brentford.
So, it's our fixtures.
Yeah, we were saying
it's
about,
a run-off
iffy
fixtures.
iffy fixtures.
And then after that, we've got Luton midweek. Now, they lost to Sheffield United at home today, which is a disgraceful result. Based on what
them is they're expected to win that game, aren't they?
It was pressures on them because they're the quote unquote form team at home, but still to be conceding 3 goals at home to Sheffield United, that's criminal in the position that they're in. But that's at Anfield, and we owe them after we played so poorly at Kenilworth Road.
Yeah.
Then it's the cup final, and then it's Manchester City. I think there's a Europa League game in between.
No, it's the cup game.
It's Forest. It's Forest away.
Southampton in the cup as well, haven't we?
That's after. Final. So that's midweek. So you got I've left lots of fixtures out. So it's the cup game, then it's the cup final, then it's the cup game, then it's Forest away, then it's the Europa League game.
Tricky game as well, Forest away. We've not done great there.
No, we were dog shit last year. Yeah. Absolute dog shit. That was a 12:30 kickoff.
Even the FA Cup game the year before, we weren't great.
It's 3 p.m. on a Saturday though. You got Forest Liverpool on 3 p.m. on a Saturday kickoff, a classic fixture. So maybe it won't be as bad as last year. And then you've got City. So taking them all in isolation, we should be collecting maximum points from those.
We're all over the place here. We're talking about the Forest game in 3 weeks, and we haven't even done the second half yet.
Yeah, well, what I was saying, to go all the way back, which is the performance wasn't great today, but it doesn't matter because it's all about building momentum up again. Because you've obviously climbed the mountain, you've been knocked down after that Arsenal defeat, so it's all about just getting results, putting performances as the performances will be patchy. So you're looking within the 90 minutes how much of this game was good, how much was it bad. So today you could say the first half bad. Second half, about half an hour was good. It was some decent stuff was being played. The players were up, the crowd was up, and then we scored the third, and then the sting went out of the game again.
Yeah.
So it's just about this is the first step back up again and it's just about timing the performance so that when you get to that City game, you're at all cylinders, firing on all cylinders because the squad's threadbare. Confidence is perhaps a little fragile after the performance we put in last week, so it's just today won't be very memorable, but it's just a step on the way forward. And then before that, you said Trent went off at half time, which I'm presuming was illness related or injury related.
Same knee that kept him out for 3 weeks. He felt something. You don't know, he's got to have scans. You don't know if it's bad or not, but he felt something, so they just took him off as a precaution. I assumed he must have had the flu like some of the others, but no, it was a knee.
Well, Conor Bradley will return at some point in the next week or so.
Yeah.
Although it's just
what's his mental state going to be though?
It is because it's very easy to just look at the players like they're on your football manager's team. And they're just names, and you go, and it's got a little mark next to them because they're unavailable. You're like, well, he'll just go straight back in. But it is it's difficult losing a player, and it's really difficult, especially when you're young. And what was his dad in his mid-50s?
Yeah.
It's just, I'm sure both parents were driving forces behind him, his football career. But usually it's the dad. And it'll be tough. So in theory, yes, he'll be back, but realistically, we're probably looking at Joe Gomez getting off his sick bed to come back in.
Yeah.
If Trent's out, go to right back. Robbo's back in at left. Kanate and Virgin, Quansah platooning at centre back as and when we need.
Which that might be the best option anyway because of the Burnley
that volley from Quansah second half.
Brentford, fucking hell, Brentford play a lot of high balls and set pieces, so Gomez playing's not probably a bad thing anyway.
Yeah, that volley from Quansah second half I thought that was in there.
Yeah.
Tremendous bit of technique.
I fancied him to score that because he's got really good technique. We've
Yeah.
seen it in
I
other,
th-
when he's
I,
had other chances.
Generally, from where I was sitting, I was like, I got fooled by it. Like the arms were going up, like, and then I managed to rescue it and just like, oh no, touch the head. No, 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 I didn't. I knew that was going wide. But I saw Harvey warming up at halftime, and I assumed it was for like maybe Endo because he'd collected a yellow card,
Yeah.
and McAllister did not play well
We said the same thing in half time. We thought that's what we'd do.
because like I don't know, we all want to see McAllister play a bit further forward, and then he does.
It's like
and
he's
you're like,
forgotten how to play.
yeah, it is. That's what I said to Paul on the way
Yeah,
back to the car.
it
It's
is.
like he's totally
I
forgotten how
said
to
it.
do
I
it.
said the same thing. It is. It's like he's completely forgotten how to do it.
He's
And
like us on this pod. He's just like he's doing the football equivalent of tapping his body. Like, where are my keys? What have I done with my keys? The keys to midfield. I don't know where they are.
But I tell you what, though, I thought like in the second half, I thought Endo was the best player on the pitch. It's toss up with him or Harvey, but I thought Endo was brilliant, and he really helped like get the crowd going as well. Just like tackles he was making. Did you see it? You probably did see it because you're in the Cop. I don't know like if anyone was watching on telly if they would have shown it, but like he won a tackle by like the touchline, and then like he played a little pass inside, and I think we won a corner. And he was giving it like the fucking double like clenched fists like to the crowd after he'd won the tackle. He's like, but it got people going, and I think he did a really good job of just like setting the tone for that second half. First half he was quiet, he didn't do anything wrong, but I thought he had like a quiet game, and then second half he like really imposed himself. Thought he was excellent, and he got
Maybe it was
got
the
a great
addition of Harvey in
great
midfield.
ovation. Yeah, it could have been, because it was crying out for Harvey, because games like that are perfect for him. You'd have some reservations about, you wouldn't want him playing like
Arsenal
last
away.
week away, for example,
Yeah.
or Man City away, games like that, where like just his lack of physicality becomes a bit of an issue. Games like that today, where you need someone to just get on the ball and get us playing and lift the tempo of the game. He's really good at it, and he made a massive difference. And I mean, realistically, he's got 2 assists there. He's only getting credited for 1, which, again, it just shows what a bullshit stat it is. He doesn't get credit for that one because it nicked off a defender before Diaz headed it in. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, no, because he was aiming for Diaz. It wasn't like
Yeah, it wasn't. It was diverted slightly upwards, so Diaz had to head it rather than kick
Yeah.
it. But it didn't divert it sideways. It's like that's his assist. It's ridiculous that he doesn't get it.
when a goal's on target and it hits someone and goes in, but it's still on target. It just goes to the person. Yeah, I can see it doesn't make much sense, I suppose, in that situation. Not that it depends if he's got an assisting in his contract, but he shouldn't be that bothered because he came on, and I thought he was excellent second half. Just got the tempo a little bit better, and
Curtis was really good at right back as well, I thought. Considering
when he wants to
thrown in at the deep end.
He wants to be careful being good at right back. He might find himself a right back. Could you imagine if he was playing right back and Trent was in midfield?
Trent and Bradley are the 2-8s.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on?
Because apparently, that's Bradley's best position, and he's going to end up there one day, according to his youth team coach back in Ireland. Yeah, Curtis has just stood out there looking like fucking John Travolta. The John Travolta gif, where he's like, why am I here? What's going on?
But he was good at right back.
He did a really good job for us. Yeah. Did you
Deputised
see Curtis had to go at Arsenal in the week over the celebrations as well?
I didn't know. What did he say?
He said, I haven't got the direct quote. It was something along the lines of, not about the players. He didn't really say anything there specifically. Not the bit that I seen. He didn't like Arteta doing the Klopp fist bumps. He was saying, basically, don't copy him. You can't get your own celebration. I'm paraphrasing slightly, but that was the gist of it.
So he said he definitely said cunt, but you're not sure about the rest of it.
I think so. Yeah, could be wrong, but it was something like that. And if he didn't say it, it was clearly what he was thinking anyway.
Arteta better be careful anyway, because he won't be the best suave Spanish dressed manager next season on the touchline if he's careful.
We'll get to that.
We'll come back to that.
We've got to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second goal,
I thought Diaz showed real, great desire to get in there and get on the end of that. Like, he was aggressive and he's attacked the near post. It's a simple finish, but he's done well to get in there, and it's nice by Harvey. But like I say, I did think, oh, he's offside, maybe. No, it wasn't that I thought he was offside. I thought there was a chance that he could have been, so I didn't really celebrate it as much as would have liked to. And that's just the shit thing now. Is like, maybe half the goals you celebrate properly because you think there's definitely nothing going on there, and the other half you're like, oh, let's wait and see.
Diaz, the other week, not the other week, God, it was a month ago, the Newcastle game, like, oh, maybe Diaz is rounding into form. But he still can't seem to put some consistent performances. Like, he scored today, great, he did score. But he's still not putting consistent performances together in games. Beating men, or, like the pass to Darwin, they just, like, wrong decisions. It's still not quite clicking for him, and I'm like, is it ever going to click again for you? Because this is going on for quite a long time now. And this is the sort of thing, Chris will be listening to this and he'll be like nodding. It's like the sort of, you're not Mane thing. You're like, I want you to be Sadio Mane, which isn't fair, because when he was at his best, at his apex, he was absolutely unplayable. But I'm looking at him like, but I need you to be more like Mane. I need more from you. What I'm getting at the moment is too piecemeal for me to think that you can turn games, and not, in a clutch game, in a pinch, I knew I could rely on Mane. I don't think I can rely on Diaz at the moment.
Yeah.
And I just need a consistent performance, a run of consistent performances where, like, he's like one of the best players in the game, and he's turned the game himself. And again, he scored today, so yes, he turned the game, but like, that was as much down to, it was great desire from him, but it was much down to Harvey's, like, ingenuity to get the ball there as well. I just want him to, like, take a man on, beat the man, create chances, test the keeper, come close. The one thing I used to love for Mane is, like, he'd get knocked over and he'd, like, bounce straight back up and carry on running, and that kind of stuff. And it's again, I know it's unfair because they're not the same player, but I thought the Newcastle game was the turning point, but it's like, it's not. We're still seeing the piecemeal performances from him. I don't know how you feel.
I don't disagree. I think we've got to see more from him. The only thing that I'd say is I feel like he is on an upward trajectory. It's just like, it's not going like straight up. It's kind of going up and down, up and down. But, after about 6 games, it's going to be up on what it was 6 games ago. But it's game by game. It's like, you don't really know what you're going to get, but it's better than it was, because he was in a slump. There's no doubt about it. Lots of reasons for that, I think more so the injury than anything else. Obviously, like, the personal stuff he had going on, like with his parents, and that was horrible, and it'll have had a big effect on him. But I do think his problems started before that, and I just think it's him just trying to get back up to full speed from the injury, and I do think he's getting there, but he's not there yet. He's still, I thought today he did a lot of good things, but it just wasn't quite what we're wanting. And his decision making, not just that one in the second half, there was one in the first half as well, when Darwin started to make a run. It was a break, and Diaz gets it on the left, and Darwin's making the run, and it's like, you've got to play that now. It's an easy ball.
He short-changed him on the ball, didn't he?
Yeah, it's just knock it into the space. It's an easy ball, and then by the time he played it to him, the defenders there and Darwin had to just stop and come all the way back to Robbo, I think. But if he'd have just played that pass, if he got his head up and just knocked it first time down the line, he would have been in. So there was a couple of things like that where he's not made the right choice in that, which usually, like, his decision making is not bad. I think he's normally pretty good with it, but yeah, he wasn't the only one today. He wasn't completely at it. But the weird thing was, although it wasn't like a really good team performance, I do think there was plenty of, like, pretty good individual performances within it. It just wasn't clicking as a team, but, like, it wasn't like that loads of players were shit or anything like that.
No, because I think Jota was fine, Darwin was fine. Yeah,
they were fine. Enzo's had a good game. I thought the 2 centre-backs were fine. I thought Robbo was fine.
Yeah.
Wasn't like a 9 out of 10 Robbo performance, but he was fine. It was a solid 7 out of 10. So it's not like there was loads of players out of form or anything. I just think maybe it was the amount of changes that we've made, and it was just a little bit disjointed because of it. But the second half was definitely better. And at half time, when like I see Curtis going to right back, I am thinking, I don't know how this second half's going to go now. But all in all, it went pretty well. Like the second goal, maybe it made you relax, but I was still nervous because they had the chances. I mean, they had two great chances.
Yeah, they had that one that was like was it a 1-on-1? It was close to it, but Kellner came out, made a good save.
Yeah,
and
that was unlucky for us
blasted
there though, because
the
that
follow
was
up. Yeah,
Kwanzaa's it's a long ball and Kwanzaa goes to head it away and he heads it and it hits somebody and ricochets into the striker's path, and it's like, oh, you can't really do a great deal about that. That's just one of those unfortunate things. But I thought Queeve was really good getting off his line and making it difficult for him. But, you know, the striker should still score. And then he has a chance a couple of minutes later, which he puts wide. But I've seen the replay of that. And again, I think Kelleher does really well. Because when you look, there's not a big gap for him to put that. Yeah. And he goes for the far corner and he puts it like a few inches wide. But I think Kelleher's done well on both of those. He saved one and he's done enough to make it difficult on the other. But you get those two chances, and then at this point, like, Klopp's fucking losing his shit with the main stand. He's like,
I saw that. Did he fall over as well? Did he I couldn't decide. There was a decision.
He fell over.
There was a decision that was made, and it looked like he either threw himself to the ground in frustration or he fell over.
I never noticed that, but he was
on his hands and knees anyway, and I'm like, what's just happened there?
No, I didn't see that, but he was like turning.
I saw him giving shit.
He was giving it the Hulk Hogan, like pointing to his ear.
Yeah, he was.
And he was like waving his arms and shouting for more noise. I'm like, don't be fucking telling us. Do it to the cop. They're the ones who, it's the cops where the noise is going to come from, and like the main stand will just like.
I know, it's like he's been here for how long, and he hasn't worked out the main stand is not where the noise is generated.
This is not who you should be appealing to, because it's going to fall on deaf ears, literally in a lot of cases, because you've got a lot of really old people in the main stand.
And if you're going to give it the Hulk Hogan, then at least grow some silken hair like a old Chinese man, and just get some skin of a hot dog. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And shake the ropes. You want to get them like like those ropes they have at like in queues and stuff to stop people go. Just put a few of them at the front there so people can't get on the pitch, and you can shake them as well. Like when he's fuming about it.
Like the Ultimate
but
Warrior.
It is Ultimate, it is the Ultimate Warrior, but he's also hulking up in it.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've just had that discussion, but it is like mad that he's been here for this long.
Last week though, going back to Arsenal, they played the Rock's entrance music for the start of the second half.
I did notice that.
It's just pure cringe. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're like proper on it with like wrestling storylines, and everyone's fuming at the Rock or whatever at that point, so they thought we'll play it. I don't know.
Giving them too much credit. I just, again, just pure cringe.
Yeah, because you play Stone Cold Steve Austin's, don't you? Like the glass shatter, and that's the one you want. But it is mad that he just doesn't work. He hasn't worked out in like 8 odd years. That like the main stand does not generate noise, and in fact, if you turn around from the 82nd minute onwards, you're just going to see people fucking off to go home in the main stand. It's like the wrong stand. Absolutely. He needs to just like charge down the touchline and whip the cop up and then run back if he really wants to do it. It's always funny though, because like the main stand sort of goes, yeah, a little bit of response, but really no response.
There was virtually no response.
Yeah. And do you reckon he turns around and just thinks, fucking cunts. It's just like,
he probably turned around and go, it's all right, only 3 more months of this.
Yeah.
I think that he was doing that though. I think it was in that little spell that Burnley had with the chances. And but you know what? It's a little bit unfair in the sense it's not like the crowds were getting agitated and getting on people's backs.
No, they weren't. To be fair, I thought the crowd was all right.
Kicking off because Burnley had chances. It wasn't like that. So sometimes like he gets pissed off at things that are shouted or whatever, and he'll turn around and have a go. But that wasn't that. He was just wanting like the atmosphere up, and the atmosphere was flat as fuck. And a lot of it was because, in my view, it's what you said before about like projecting your own personal feelings onto it. I think a lot of people just felt that way, where it was just a bit deflating after last week. and we needed. I think if like the team had to come out and like really just blew the doors off early on, I think everyone would have just shrugged off last week and just got into it, and it would have been fine. But because like we were playing the way we were playing after last week and after City going top, I do think there was just a bit of an air of like, resignation might not be the right word, but to some extent that like. And then the second half, when it was like, oh, okay, we've got a game on our hands here, we really need to do something. I think like the crowd did enough. It wasn't great, but the atmosphere did get like ramped up a bit in the second half. And
it's ironic when it was
enough.
the biggest. It's a record crowd, like as well.
Yeah. It looks great though, doesn't it? Like looking at the Annie Road and that. Like
Yeah, well, I sat in it for 6 months, and for the first half of the season, and I never saw fuck all because it was behind me.
Yeah.
So now I'm back in the car, I can see it.
It does look really impressive, and I don't know. You probably left, so you won't have seen this. Like what happened at the end. So when Klopp's doing like the fist pumps to the cop.
Yeah, I'd left. Yeah.
He then turned around, and as he's walking off, like the Annie Road's all like shouting. So we must have thought, you know what, a new stand. I'm going to give them a bit.
Oh,
as
is
well.
that why they were more though? Because I could hear they were more, and we were wondering what was going on.
He did
right,
that.
Okay.
He did it to the Annie Road, and then he's walking towards the tunnel, and then everyone in the main stand's like, "What about us? What about us?" And he was like gesturing, like, "No, that's enough, And then he went, "Oh, fuck it," and he done it again, like to the main stand. So it was just like the Kemlin getting on, yeah. So that was funny. But we haven't got to the best bit yet.
Go on.
Darwin's goal.
Well, we talked about it already, so we have got to the best.
No, we talked about the celebration. We didn't talk about the goal.
Oh, go on then. Off you go.
It's a brilliant header. I didn't realise at the time how good it was until I seen the replay of it. I thought it was just
falling back a little bit, isn't he, as well?
I couldn't see that because there was a lot of players between like where I'm sat and where he headed it in. I just thought Harvey's just floated one in and he's just glanced it into the corner. I didn't realise it was behind him, and he had to flick the neck muscles and direct it. It's a great goal, great header.
I thought he played quite well. I do get where you're coming from sometimes when you say we are less interesting when he plays. I think it's a little bit of a knock on. Because what I was going to say is when Gakpo plays, it is a little bit of a knock on him, I suppose. They sort of go, it's not as exciting as
he's just different.
Do you know what?
It's not even that. You can't.
Do you know what I think
Gakpo
it is?
To do that.
Do you know what I think it is? For my money,
what?
Pace.
Yeah,
it's pace.
What it is, it's pace.
It's
and
blistering. Yeah, we're used to it. We had it in the early Klopp years when it was Mane and Salah, and it was like they were jet heeled racing snakes and everything, and it is just like it's pace. You can't beat someone like there were bits today where like he got one-on-one a defender and sort of in the second half, and he was just like jet heel trying to get past the defender, and it just gets you going. So I do understand
that with him actually twice.
He did, yeah. And in the end, Darwin fouled him, but I don't think it was a foul, to be honest with you. That was a bit about.
He got booked, but the booking was for kicking the ball away. I watched that before because we thought he'd booked him for the actual foul, which was just one of those where like a defender just running with you and you clip the heels accidentally and he goes down. It's always going to be a free kick. Even though it's not an intentional foul, they're always going to take the easy route there and go, yeah, that's a free kick, which is fine. But then he booked him, and I was at that point like I'm screaming
ready to
at the
throw
referee
hands.
it's bad enough like other things that he'd done which had pissed me off, but then he's booking my boy for that. I was fucking fuming. But then I've watched afterwards, and he actually booked him for kicking the ball away. But even that was bullshit because he kicked it against the advertising boards to come back. He didn't kick the ball away.
Yeah.
He just booted it into the boards and it come back on the pitch to the goalkeeper, and it didn't waste any time at all. It was just a ref being a job's worth there because that should never have been a yellow card. But then in the first half, I think it was, he got fouled and it wasn't given. Like defenders like wrestling him, and he did that thing that he keeps doing where like he just throws his arm, like when he's pissed off and he like throws his arm and like shout, and he's been booked for that twice already this season, at least twice, maybe even more, but twice recently where he's done that. And I think it's his way of expressing himself because he's not like he's probably like shouting in Spanish or whatever. But like that, if that's how he expresses like when he's pissed off. But refs don't like it. They let you get away with all kinds of shit. But if you do that with your arm, like in protest at a decision, it's yellow card straight away. But he actually got away with one of those today. But I think they need to be saying to him, look, you're gonna have to stop doing that, because I think every booking he's had for this season has been for dissent. But he's, you know, he's got that South American in him. You're not gonna like get rid of that, are you? It's just the way they are. Like fire in the belly. I love it.
Well, to be honest, it's not something I'd want to eradicate. I don't want him nutting goalkeepers, but I you know, you do. It is part of the character. It is part of what makes it.
If you're 4-0 up and it's Emi Martinez or it's Pickford, you're 4-0 up and it's the last game of the season, I'd have no problem with that.
Well, you're dealing with a lot of hypotheticals there. Like,
yeah, but you can't make such a sweeping blanket statement. I don't want him nutting goalkeepers.
Well, he's already done it once. He's already done it once.
It was fucking hell. Your memory is bad. It was the defender. It wasn't the goalie. It was the centre back. Was that Anderson?
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck me, my memory.
Palace centre back Anderson. It wasn't the goalkeeper.
Right, hang on. I don't want him nutting defenders.
Again, let's not be too hasty. Depends on who the defender is and the situation. But yeah,
my memory is shit. And yet, you know what? You can ask me random shit about Liverpool games from the 1990s, and I'll be straight on that.
What about that Frimpong from Arsenal? What was his first name?
Emmanuel, I think. Like the softcore porn film, Emmanuel. But you know, like it's mad. Like you can ask me like a squad number of a player from the 1990s, and I'll probably remember it. And yet, like,
because you've probably got the shirt in your wardrobe.
No, probably.
Your collection of thousands of shirts.
Yes, yeah. I think it's. I can't remember the last time I counted football shirts. I think it was like 270 or something.
Fucking hell. All my footy shirts are now a putting green in the front garden. Sold them on eBay to raise money for a putting green.
To be fair, I sold a few during the pandemic, so some of mine are now a big telly downstairs in the cats. But no, it is weird. Like, you know, you ask me like, you know, who was number 22 or whatever, you'd be like, oh, what year? And I could probably tell you. But you ask me who 22 is, have we got a 22 now? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm trying to count through the squad, and I don't know. I think
Mignolet was 22 a while ago.
Yeah, and then Jota's 20, and then but like it's just your brain doesn't absorb it in the same way. I think because I feel like time goes very fast these days. Like, you know, you just, the year goes quickly, and I'm getting into an existential thing here. Like, when you're younger, time takes longer because you just haven't had that much time. You've got like you know, when you're 10. And something that was 5 years ago, that's half your life. But when you're 50, it was 25 years ago. That's fucking ages. You can't remember that shit. Yeah. So I think it's something to do with that. But yeah, I can't remember who Darwin nutted, which is quite bad because that's what I've got a lot of beef with him.
I know, because you haven't stopped slagging him off for it. And the least you can do is remember who it was if he nutted.
The courtesy of knowing who he took out to raise my anger. Yeah. No, I hold my hands up there.
You've lost all of your like criticising rights now. You can't ever bring that up again.
Yeah, nice try. I think I've been very fair with Darwin this season. To be honest with you,
you have.
You know, I'm not like a.
I'm not getting knobhead no more.
Yeah, I'm not getting the brickbats that like Chris is getting.
I know. And Chris has been totally fair with him as well. He just gets so fucking riled up by me. That's all. No, the chippy knobhead now is definitely John after today. See if they haven't had a shot on target yet. Fucking hell, John. Unbelievable.
I know, it's like he's never fucking been to a football match, when in essence he's been to thousands, he should know.
Ridiculous. So, 3-1. We had other chances. There was the Darwin one when he went 1-on-1. We spoke about that. Yeah. Substitutions late on. We ended up with a midfield three of Harvey Elliott, McConnell and Bobby Clark. So, it's just a shame Kumas didn't get on as well.
Yeah, it would have been nice, I suppose, at that point to get him on, but at the same time, you got to be realistic about like it. You know, I wouldn't expect Burnley to come back, but you know, You never know. You want like a little
He
bit
did
of
it with
insurance.
2 minutes to go, didn't he? There was
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't taking any chances with that.
No. And in the end, as I say, I never felt that it was that in the balance anyway. I was never that nervous. But in the end, it felt very comfortable when, but 3-1, and by the time the final whistle went.
Yeah, they gave up at 3-1.
Yeah.
That was the game.
I think they gave up in August, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they've been more competitive lately though. They're not getting battered by anyone anymore. It's like they're in most games that they play, but yeah, they're going back down. I was saying that though, we don't know what's going to happen with points deductions and stuff for Everton and Forest. If it's another 10-point deduction, that changes things completely. It gives like Luton and Burnley a decent chance of getting out of it if they can put a few results together.
Well, Luton have still got it in their own hands anyway because they've got a game in hand on Everton.
Yeah, and they're not in the bottom three at the moment either.
No, they're a point clear of Everton at the moment. But Burnley and Sheffield United both on 13 points, 3 wins out of 24. It's, like back, it still kind of happens, but not so much anymore because the way the Football League has gone. You find a lot of Football League teams in non-league, but it used to be like, the non-league teams couldn't come up because their ground wasn't up to snuff and everything. And I'm not saying you should have like your team's a bit shit, you can't come into the Premier League. But it does, like, the disparity, considering they've all had fucking parachute payments as well, so they've all had money, and the disparity between some of these championship teams in the Premier League, it just, like, the Premier, I can't see how it's good long term for the Premier League's, for want of a better word, product, that you're just having these teams come up to get absolutely battered and go back down. I know it doesn't happen every season. This is like the first season where all 3 teams that have come up have been absolutely dog shit. But I also don't think
trending that way though, doesn't it?
It does.
You've got yo-yo
I also
teams
don't.
and then.
Well, I was going to say about the yo-yo teams. I don't think it behooves them either. I don't think it's a good idea for these teams like to play the yo-yo game, because look what's happened to Norwich and West Brom. They were like, no, we go up, we take the money, we go down, we build a little bit more,
Watford
and then we
as
go
well.
up. Yeah, but they've all absolutely what they've done is they've not made a good fist of being in the Premier League, and then they've gone back down. They've just gone back down with Premier League debts. They haven't. The yo-yo thing is not a thing you can really do anymore. I don't think you've got to go up and you've got to try and put. They say we don't want to bankrupt ourselves, but you can put relegation clauses in contracts to sort this out. But there's no. It must be miserable as well, right? It's like it's dead easy saying this as a Liverpool fan because, even our shit years are better than most teams' years. But like it must be miserable when you've like been in the Championship and you've battered everyone like Burnley, or you've come up like the way Sheffield United did, and then you get up and it's just like, and now you're going to just get battered wherever you go, and it's going to be miserable. It's not fun, and it didn't used to happen back in the 80s, early 90s. It's just the way modern football is, and like I think the worst thing about it is that it's meant to be a sport, but it's not a sport anymore. It's a business. It's too much of a business that the top teams, whether it be in England or Europe or whatever, they're not interested in helping anybody out. They're only interested in helping themselves. But eventually, if you carry on like that, you're going to have a product that's stale, that's dull, that no one's going to want to watch. You're basically going to be the Scottish League. It's just, and this is just like, you've got these 3 teams. I mean, to be fair to Luton, fair fucks to Luton, because they're the worst of all in terms of ground.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
You watch them and what they're doing, it's like, fucking, how are they doing this?
Well, some players though played for them in like the bottom leagues and everything.
Yeah.
It's up, and they've not got the resources. They've not got the Sheffield United and Burnley's grounds. They're good old grounds, but they're much. I'm sure we were all bored by like the end of August by the talk about Kenilworth Road's away end. It's all well documented. It is mad, but it's well documented what the ground's like. It's well documented where they ended up in non-league because of the debts and everything. And to come up and then like to start off quite badly, and they couldn't play at home, which I think was probably a handicap for them because the ground had to be upgraded, and it wasn't ready. And then to now be in February and to have your own destiny in your hands, because if you just win more than Everton, you're probably gonna stay up. Fair fucking play.
I know, they've got better as the season's gone on as well. I mean, they scored 4 away at Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's, the 2-0, 2-1 down, and then next thing they're winning 4-2. Okay, they didn't win, but for them to even be doing that, they scored 4 against Brighton the game before. I just think what they're doing is like unbelievable.
Well, look, Well, look at Newcastle tonight. They've just won away 3-2 at Forest, who've had have had a year of Premier League experience. So that's a home game for Forest that they can't win, and then yet Luton are going away to Newcastle and getting a draw and taking a 2-goal lead. So, I wish I could wish them all the best. I do wish the players and the club itself all the best, but the fans are fucking dickheads.
Yeah, they are.
That's the problem. They've always, it's Luton's like a hotbed of like tension, shall we say? It's where a lot like the EDL's got a breeding ground around there, and it's just obviously the sort of people who follow that tend to also gravitate to football, unfortunately, especially in the south. So, but I do wish the manager, the players, and the club itself all the best. They deserve to stay up. They've made a really good fist of it. However, as long as they don't make it hard against us in a couple of weeks. Let's all make that clear. But yeah, it's a shame. It is a real shame that I don't feel sorry for Burnley because they spent too long with Dyche when it was stale, but they've tried to pivot into this style with Company. And again, fair play to them because that's not easy going from Dyche to Company down in the Championship. But yet, it's just they've come up and they've really. You've got to be realistic about it. It's all right saying this is my philosophy, this is how I play, but you've got to be realistic sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think he was today. That's the first time I've seen them actually compromise on what they do.
It's too late though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is definitely.
That's the sad thing.
I think you look at how good they were in the Championship, but it's say you're Barry McGuigan, back in the day, and you're you in your own weight class, you're winning world titles, you look great and that. It's like getting Barry McGuigan and say, okay, next week you're fighting Mike Tyson. The week after, it's Evander Holyfield. Then it's Lennox Lewis. See, all my boxing references are all old because I just don't really follow it much now. But I did back then. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I do, in their own weight class, they've done really well. And then all of a sudden, it's they're in with the heavyweights. And you can't really expect them to compete. But then you look at how Luton have competed and go, well, you know what? They've done it and they've spent less money. So I just think it's credit to Luton's manager, who seems like a decent fella as well. I quite like him, whereas I don't like Vincent Kompany one little bit. So,
former Welsh international.
Yeah, he seems like a good egg. You see him getting interviewed after games and that, and think, yeah, you know what? I wish you well. I hope you do well, even though your fans are fucking should we talk about Xabi Leverkusen?
Yeah, weekly Leverkusen watch.
Yeah.
I think how many Reds were probably more excited by that result than our result today.
I know. I haven't seen it. Well, I've seen the third goal that they scored on the breakaway, but I didn't watch
I was
the
driving.
game.
I've seen nothing.
Yeah,
I've seen the result. Obviously,
a few of the lads in the chat were watching it and talking about it. So, by all accounts, they just completely dominated Bayern Munich. Just a comfortable victory, and that puts them 5 points clear. And when he took over, they were second from bottom. It was early last season. So he's gone from second from bottom to 5 points clear of Bayern Munich, who nobody ever finishes with Bayern Munich. It's, teams have tried and failed, usually Dortmund. But it's unbelievable what he's done. And he's not done, I mean, he signed Granit Xhaka. He's not shopping at the top end of the market.
No.
And Xhaka's been brilliant for them, but that's credit to Alonso that he's seen that in him. This player, he's
and how to use him.
He's exactly what I need for how I want to play, and that identified him, put him in. He's been brilliant, and I just think.
How will we feel when he signs Xhaka for us next season? As his experienced hand, I don't think he will. Obviously,
no. I mean, I don't really want to. I'd said to myself I don't want to talk too much on the pods for the next couple of months about Klopp's replacement, because I want to just enjoy that, Klopp's here.
But that's a big game today, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be spoken about because of that. It's the significance of it. And, I think all of us, we're all on Team Alonso anyway. I think we all want him as the guy. People who've got reservations about lack of experience and that's fair to some extent. But if he wins the Bundesliga after taking over a team that was second from bottom the year before, I mean, that's as big an achievement as I can think of.
They're not exactly put forward a candidate that you go, that guy. Yeah. That's the problem, right? There aren't standout candidates. He is the standout candidate because what he's doing at Leverkusen, and then his connection with the club, and also just his all-round handsomeness. It's a complete combination.
The wow factor.
Yeah, it is. And then there's people who aren't enamored with him. Well, who else? And they can't give you someone who's a better bet because there is nobody else who's a better bet. That's why it's the obvious choice. Not as you said in the very first one. Don't overthink it. It's clear what the answer is.
Yeah,
Just do that. But it's to beat the only thing I do worry about is like how much of this is Alonso's skill at management and how much is it Harry Kane bringing the Spurs gene over to Bayern Munich and fucking them over.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't rule that shit out.
You can't.
It's not an exact science, but it is science.
He's just took that Spurs stink over with him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just infected everyone with it. It would just be so fucking funny if Harry Kane gives up like everything he had at Tottenham, which he gave it all up purely for trophies. It'd be so funny if he went there and didn't win anything, and it's like the fucking first time, like probably ever, that Bayern Munich hadn't won something. It would just be amazing, wouldn't it?
Well, I can't remember the last time they didn't win the Bundesliga. They've won it how many times in a row?
It was probably when Klopp was at Dortmund, wasn't it? Has anyone else won it since then? I don't know.
I don't think they have. I think they're on a proper run with it, aren't they? But yeah, that's pure Harry Kane there. You can't give him two chances. You can't give him any chances, it turns out.
And if there wasn't enough of a Spurs stench with Harry Kane, these guys had it dire just to make sure.
I know that feels like when we kept like Maxi Rodriguez around just to help Luis settle in. We're like, oh, we need to.
He was your boy, though. You loved him.
I loved Maxi. Yeah, he was great. Like a bargain signing of like a little bit of skill. I was never going to be for the if you were pushing for the title, but. Yeah, no, he's great, Maxi. Loved Maxi. Loved his song as well. Great song. Back when we could have great songs for players.
Hey, the Diaz song got a little bit of an air.
I did hear it. Yeah, I did hear it.
That was good. Good to hear that.
And after it came out, I was like sort of thinking, I was looking at the players in the pitch, going, how many of you actually have got good songs or any songs at the moment? It's not.
Well, let's go through it then. So.
Well, it was Kelleher, so that none.
No.
Curtis Jones.
Alisson's got a chance to it. So.
That's crap.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's crap though. Jones? No.
No, not in the ground. There's a few that have been knocking around on Twitter, but not in the ground.
Yeah, it's got to be sung at an away, or at least at minimum at an away, because that's where usually these songs are generated. Yeah. And then obviously if it makes it to Anfield, then it's definitely made it. But I'm not having any of those Twitter songs. No, if they're not being sung. By like 10 people in a bar. No. It's got to be in a away ground.
Somewhere, though. I mean, if someone comes up with it on Twitter and it spreads, then.
Yeah, but it's not legitimate to me until it's made it into.
It doesn't count.
Yeah. So there's Jones. He's no.
Canate hasn't got one.
Quansah obviously hasn't got one. Verge does.
Yeah.
Robbo does. It's shit. Absolutely shit. McAllister.
Costas does, but not really. Doesn't really get sung.
No.
McAllister, no.
Endo, no. Elliot?
I mean, the Endo one's a fucking open goal, just like the old Honcho one. Just off the old Honcho chant.
Hi ho, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
Harvey, no. Gravenberg, no. Who else? Sobersley. There is actually not at the ground yet, but there's a few Sobersley ones which hopefully
someone will do well to get one of them going. That's like one of the hardest names you can put.
There's a couple of them that I think it was American Pie. I think there was one to American Pie.
Okay,
it works.
Yeah, no, it does work. Yeah, no, it does work. Diaz obviously got an ear in.
Yeah.
Jota, one of the best ones.
Yeah, it's a low bar though, isn't it?
It is a low bar, yeah. Nunez has one, but
he should have like.
It's not really. It's more like an emotional support animal of a chant. It's not really a proper chant, is it?
And I suppose it's song. Like the Canate when like it's just boo. That fucking does my head in. Oh, I'll tell you what pissed me off today.
Shoot.
Enzo on the edge of the box, and he did not want to shoot. He was looking to pass, and the fucking cop were going, shoot, and in the end he just went, oh, okay, and he just had a shot that got blocked, and I was like, that's your fault, fucking shut up.
It's no one around me though. I didn't like. There's no one. I don't know where it comes from. I wonder if they pipe it in. Like I don't know where it comes from.
just weird. It's so annoying.
It materialized after
It's
the
every time Joe
pandemic.
Gomez gets the ball.
Yeah, but like it didn't happen for years. Then after the pandemic, it sort of rematerialized. They were shouting it like at every game, and I don't know where it came from. And then yeah, obviously the Joe Gomez thing. They should have just given him the penalty the other week that Darwin missed.
No,
reckon
I don't want his first goal to be like that. I think just let it happen organically because it's going to come in a big game. You can just feel it.
Is that the sort of like if you were to lose your virginity by going to see the paying for it, it wouldn't count because you've had to. Is that what it is? Is that what you're saying it
Yeah,
is?
it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
No,
it is.
that's a good comparison. It is.
Yeah.
It would feel like cheap and like not authentic.
It's not. You've not really achieved it there, have
Yeah.
you? You've not really done it, have
Yeah.
you? I mean, yes, you have, but you haven't really.
Yeah, I don't want Joe Gomez on penalties. I want to just let him, let it happen naturally. Let nature take its course.
Yeah, all right, we'll leave that one there then. I think, yeah. But it's good to see the Diaz chant getting there in. Just need
Yeah,
people
it
to
was.
learn it now, don't you?
Yeah, and I think maybe like there's a bit of a because I've seen a few articles like This Is Anfield had done something the other day about why have players not got songs and all that. So I think once word sort of filters out a bit, maybe that's something that'll pick up as the season goes on. Hopefully,
Maybe.
anyway, because you go back to it. It used to be like before the game, every player got the name sung, and I know things have changed now with like lining
How they
up
come
for
out,
the
yeah.
anthems and all of that shit, and that they're not just like kicking the ball around and waiting for the referee to start the game.
Oh, do you know what? I
you can
missed
still
that.
do
I
it.
I
Yeah.
missed that. Yeah, you're right. They'd come out and then you sing the song and they turn around,
And
they
clap,
they
yeah,
applaud, yeah,
yeah.
and then you go on to the next one.
I know, it was great.
Yeah,
And
it
you get
was,
to
yeah.
more or less the whole team. It's
Yeah.
like virtually everyone would have it. You'd like one or two who wouldn't, but most of the team would have it. And like now it's not the same, is it?
No. So, jumping back to Alonso then, is there like a little bit of a danger that if he's too good, Bayern Munich may go, hang on a second, you're exactly what we're looking for. Because I can't imagine, it's a Tuchel, isn't it? I can't
Yeah.
imagine he's going to last much longer.
No, but that's a danger, I suppose. But if you also weigh it up, if he's getting offered both jobs, why would he not take the Liverpool job? Because he's on record as saying about and people close to him as well, like Schweinsteiger said something the other day. Like they were together at Bayern Munich, and he was like, it was his dream to manage Liverpool. He said, I don't see why he won't end up there next year, because that's what he wanted to do. And that's back when they were players. He must have been talking about it. And other
Yeah.
people have said it as well. And Alonso himself had said about the place that felt most like home was here. He said that he thought when he went back to Spain to sign for Madrid, it was going home, and he went, it wasn't. I actually felt more at home living in Liverpool. So I don't see any reason why, if it's offered to him, he would turn it down.
Do you reckon he'll ring Rafa for advice?
Doubt it. Yeah, I highly doubt it.
But I hope
Rafa's probably
Leverkusen-
recommending Gareth Barry for the job as
he probably is. Yeah, he's probably on the blower. He's probably got a placard outside the ground. Yeah, but tremendous results for them. Fair fucking play.
I really hope
it-
they do it, even
Yeah,
irrespective of whether he comes here or not. I'd really love to see him do that, because it'd be such a great achievement.
Yeah.
It's probably not the same as Leicester winning the Premier League, but there's a comparison there in the sense.
But they have that
Leicester almost
Leverkusen
got
tag,
relegated,
don't they?
didn't they? Remember,
Yeah, but
a couple of years before they were
Yeah, they
struggling, and then they stayed
Ranieri
up.
came in and yeah,
Yeah,
that's what he did. Yeah.
So there is a similar feel to that. And
But
they've not got any stars, really. Okay, Wirtz is someone who, a lot of big teams will be looking at, but it's not like he's got a star-studded team. It's all about, the system and the coaching and just getting the best out of players. And I just think what he's done is, unbelievable.
No, it is, but no, it is. It's well, if it's that the I can't think what's it called, the Leverkusen tag.
Yeah.
They never win.
Yeah.
They can never close the deal. Now you're 5 points clear. There's 15 games left, I think, and just for that, who doesn't like to see a sporting streak
Yeah.
like that get finished off? It's great, isn't it? And it is boring. I don't mind Bayern Munich. They're not they're not this big massive behemoth, but they're not in the same way that other clubs are because of the ownership structure in Germany and stuff like that.
They're not really that dislikable, are they?
No, I mean I'm sure they are in Germany, but
Yeah,
like
of
from
course, in Germany.
for us, but for us looking inside, no, they're not that
They're not Real
dislikable.
Madrid.
No, they're not, and they sort of go about it in an okay, not the right way maybe, but in an okay way. It's up, if they want to buy players from their rivals, it's up to the rival club to either say no or the player to say no. That's how you stop that sort of stuff. Is if you go, no, actually, we're building something here. So I've never had a problem with that either. It's a bit dispiriting if you're the team like Dortmund being constantly picked apart by them, but it's like properly tedious. You don't want. It's good for them. They might not think it, but it's good for them if they don't win the Bundesliga this year. If Leverkusen do, it puts eyes on the Bundesliga. Yes, you might end up losing the manager that did it, but they obviously Bayern didn't join in with the Super League nonsense either. Which they
I think they're the moral compass, aren't they, for football clubs? Is like German
well,
teams.
again, it's the ownership structure. They're not allowed to do so because they the way it's done, they're not allowed to have that kind of stuff. But it is like sort of.
But German clubs in general, like the fans of German clubs, they're like they'll be there with like the banners and stuff, protesting against all of this stuff that over here.
Well, they
moan
hate
about it on podcasts and stuff, and on Twitter, but we don't fucking do anything.
Yeah, they hate Leipzig, don't they? For example,
Yeah.
because of like the Red Bull ownership and that kind of stuff. But it's more like. The biggest problem all the other leagues have is that the TV deals aren't anywhere near the Premier League's TV deals. But the only way to get your TV deals up is to have your league be more competitive. So it does not harm anybody long term if Leverkusen wins that league.
Yeah.
So best luck to them, and hopefully Xabi will be coming here with a league title in his back pocket, and then he can out-suave Arteta, because Arteta won't have a league title in his back pocket.
He was a poor man's Alonso as a player, and he's going to be a poor man's Alonso as a manager. I think.
He's still fucking handsome, isn't he? Like it makes you sick. He's the same age as me. It just makes you sick, like getting better with age. Who knew being a millionaire
Jamie Redknapp's 3 days older than me.
Well, you need your haircut because you're starting
I'm
to look
more
like
Harry Redknapp than Jamie Redknapp. It's fucking depressing. I see him on like Jamie Redknapp on Sky, and I'm like, how's his hair still black? What's going on? Like, he must dye it, but it doesn't look like it is. Still.
Well, he's got a professional for that, hasn't he? But again, who knows what a millionaire lifestyle with doctors and physiotherapists and all that kind of stuff on tap will do to a man. What would he look like if he was having to do the daily grind of golf reviews like you? He wouldn't look like that then, would he?
Yeah, writing match reports and reviewing putters. I know he wouldn't. It's true. I can barely get off the sofa without every movement I make is like subconsciously it's accompanied by like everything. It's ridiculous. I got Chris to send me some yoga exercises the other day because I thought I need to do something here.
Mate, yoga's hard though. Yoga, if you're...
I did them one day and I've not been able to do them since because like I think like I've done something to my stomach muscles or something, and they weren't even stomach exercises he sent me. That's the worst part. I'm like so unfit. It's just disgusting.
When I did my back in during the pandemic, I did yoga. I did like a YouTube thing. Did 30 days in a row because that was the 30 days of yoga was the course. And that like the downward facing dog thing, like you meant to have your feet flat on the ground when you do it. Like that's not even coming close to being happening. It's like I just realized how because I don't think I'm that inflexible, but then you do yoga like, I'm really inflexible. It's like I'm made of concrete from like my stomach down to my knees. It's just like almost impossible. It's
I'm I've got no flexibility at all. It's so bad that when I'm playing golf, when I go to tee my ball up, I have to go down on one knee. I can't bend to put the ball on the ground.
That is bad, yeah.
It looks
so
like
do people think
proposing to me golf ball.
I was saying, do people think you're like respecting Black Lives Matter or something every time you're teeing off?
No, it's
someone's on the green behind you, just like finishing off and like, Oh, fair fucking play. Look, he's like he's taking the knee even. Yeah.
Oh, I'm picking the ball out the hole as well. That's another thing.
Oh,
Like, usually, if there's somebody by the hole and they get the ball for me, I'm like, oh, thank fuck for that. I've not got to go and like go try and bend down and pick it up. But like, I got El Pistolero, like me custom fitted putter and that, which is great. But I also got sent a putter to review that it picks the ball up out the hole for you, so you don't have to bend down. And I'm seriously thinking, do I take that on the course with me just because I'm not going to have to bend anymore?
I was about to say, like, when I used to play, like, I used to always just use the back of the putter to get the ball out of the hole, and I was young, like, I was in my teens then.
Yeah, that's because you're using a blade putter, like like the narrow ones. Putters now are like massive. The head's bigger than the hole, so you wouldn't be able to do that. Most people use like those shape putters, but yeah, I've got one that's got like a hole in the bottom that you just push that down and it picks the ball up. I'm like, do I leave El Pistolero at home and just bring that one so I don't have to bend?
El Pistolero just plays outside on the front green. It doesn't go out on the course.
I'll probably just bring him out because he just looked good in the bag anyway.
All right, I think.
Or maybe I could just do the yoga and actually learn how to bend again.
So you're definitely going to take the two putters out on the course?
No, I am. I'm going to try. I'm really going to try with the exercises Chris has sent me. So hopefully, even if I just get like a few more inches of bend in me, that's all I need. Just to be able to tee the
As long as I can do me laces up without having to go down on knees, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Or you'll have to have Velcro. That's the worst part because you can't be getting down on anymore. So I'm just gonna have Velcro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or slip-ons. You'll be wearing Crocs.
Lonsdale pitch invaders.
I love the billboard they've got outside Goodison now. That's like says like I can't remember what it says, but it's like something like feel the magic of Z cars or something with the Everton Stadium too, and it's like fuck off.
Oh my god.
It's something like that. I'll have to take a photo of it next time I pass it. But yeah, it's not feel the magic, but it's like relive Z cars or something. It's just like that's what you're selling on fucking Z cars.
You got nothing though, and what can they sell? That's even without taking the piss. I'm not even saying that to take the piss. It's just a fact.
Cuckoo clock.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't see a lot of them these days, so that'll be quite the thing. Cuckoo clock.
Should we quickly talk about Brentford then before we wrap it up?
Yeah, go on.
So, I'm assuming Alisson's back, but they were a bit vague about that. Klopp didn't say Alisson had the flu. He said Joe Gomez had the flu, and then he said Alisson rang in this morning. And he went to say with the flu, but he stopped short of that, and he said something like, "So we need to see what that is." So okay, hopefully he's back, but we'll see. Trent depends on the scan. Hopefully that's not bad, but I've got a feeling like that might be something.
I'm alright with that if Gomez is back. That's not
especially for that game next week.
Yeah, that's not a massive. It's a concern, but it's not. I need Alisson back for away at Brentford.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I think he sounds like he just rang in sick the day, like someone does for work.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he put on the sick voice that people do when they ring in sick? Boss, I can't. I'm not well. Oh, all right, mate. All right.
And because it's Alisson, nobody had ever doubted it, because Alisson would never tell a lie.
Yeah.
All you'd have to say to him is, swear on the Holy Bible, Alisson, that you're sick, and then you'd know.
Yeah.
Alisson back. We'll see what happens at right back. Konate comes back in with Verge. Robbo will start next week.
Yeah.
So then midfield, I think you want Endo in a game like that.
It's probably going to be Endo, McAllister, and Jones, isn't it?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Unless
don't
Dom's
think
back.
I don't think he will be.
Yeah.
I think he might be on the bench.
I think he's close. Klopp said he was running outside. He wasn't in the training on Friday, but he was running, so he must be close. Maybe next week.
Mo's almost back, isn't he? He's Superman Mo's almost back in team training. He said.
Yeah, I'd imagine that he'll be on the bench for that.
He knows there's a cup final around the corner. There's no way he's not going to be fit for that. He's going to sniff that. He's going to be right on it.
If Mo gets 2 training sessions, he's definitely on the bench.
Yeah. So Mo might be back, but again, I think you probably start in the same 3.
Same front 3, yeah.
I don't really want to see Gakpo away from Mo, unless it's for Diaz.
Yeah, I seen there was an interview. I can't remember where it was, but I watched the interview with Gakpo recently, And he was asked, like, what's your favourite position? And, like, without hesitation, he just went left wing. I'm like, okay, so maybe if that's where he wants to play, that's probably, like, the weakest position of the three at the moment, maybe. Because he come on today and played centre forward and Darwin went out on the left. I'm like, what have we done that for? I mean, to be fair, it worked quite well because Darwin got in a few times down the left. So, but yeah, I think Gakpo will be on the bench next week. So, are you expecting us to win the game?
No, I can't bring myself to expect that because we've been so poor against Brentford away recently. Plus the 12:30, plus we're not in the greatest shape when it comes to full performances. No, I do expect this. I don't expect to win. I think we will win.
I think we
but I
have
don't
to
expect it. Yeah, well, it is a must
So,
win.
yeah,
It's a literal must win.
I don't expect us to play great. I don't think it's
No,
going to be easy, but I think we just have to find a way.
and I think we'll definitely concede as well.
3-2 or something I could see happening.
Yeah,
Could
I think
definitely
so.
see, like, conceding a Xabi goal from a set piece, and us
I
needing
wouldn't
to
be
score
surprised
three
if
to
we
win.
went behind first.
Yeah,
If they
probably.
took the
Yeah,
lead. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it'll be tough. That's the one when I'll be more clenched than I was today because it's a definite banana skin.
Plus, you're watching on
Um,
telly, you're not actually there, so you feel like you can't control it.
yeah,
You've got no
yeah.
influence over what's happening.
No, I hate 12:30 kickoffs. I hate TNT Sports.
Mm.
The 12:30 kickoff just feels like a relic of 15 years ago because they used to. The Premier League is now so popular and the overseas rights cost so much. I don't think you really need that 12:30 game anymore. Like people are clearly watching it whatever time it's on.
Yeah,
And they used to say it was like, they used to vaguely say it was because like it was better for overseas fans to watch. But at this point, I really don't see the point of it, especially when the overseas fans can see every fucking game anyway, unlike us in this country. I really wish the 12:30. I would prefer, and it's not something I like either, but I would prefer the game to be a Saturday night 7:30 game. The
yeah.
12:30 to go away because the 12:30 is just awful. 7:30 on Saturday is not great either, to be honest with you. But
No,
like,
especially
if
for
it's
travelling fans.
no, I think
But 12:30 is not great either because you're having to leave so early.
I have to leave early. Like it's and I'm driving. I'm not at the behest of public transport. But if you were to give Sky the 7:30 game and give TNT the 5:30 game, and then do it that way and give Sky the bigger prime time game. I don't even like. I don't. I'm still not over like two Super Sunday games like them. I used to like it when it was just one, and then they stacked them. But then they moved. It was a 1:30 kickoff, and they moved it to 2 o'clock as well. And
They
the
have three
4:30.
sometimes, don't they?
Our game against City is 3:45 on police advice. Fucking 15 minutes, 45 minutes. What I mean,
I
people are
think that
gonna.
was just our police just saying, okay, well, Manchester police have been dickheads and moved the fixture. We're going to
So we
flex our
go.
muscles and do it as well because it makes no sense.
No,
That
45
45
minutes.
minutes is not making any difference.
No. We probably wanted later. The people are more rowdy, to be honest.
Mm.
So it doesn't really make any sense to move it any earlier. But I mean, even like a 6 p.m. Sunday game again. The thing is, all times are shit for fans apart from 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Like that's the best time because that's you can get home from games, you can get to games. There's a reason the games are 3 o'clock on a Saturday. But in the modern world, you're not going to get that. So I just wish the 12:30 game would fuck off because they're not even very good games. And the
They're
worst
always
thing is
shit, yeah.
they always sell the Premier League on like the atmosphere and the passion and all. I was reading a Wikipedia ad on the side of the ad board today at half time, and it was like experience the passion, and I just thought. Fucking hell, they've done half milk the passion thing in the Premier League because half the grounds are shite. But they're all shite at 12:30.
Yeah.
Like no one's up for a 12:30 kickoff. No one, you can't. It's just not possible. No one's interested. It's too early. Unless you're going on holiday, no one likes to be in the pub at 8 a.m. having a beer. It's like, it's just awful. So I'd expect this to struggle, maybe concede first. But ultimately, if we want to even think about continuing to challenge,
Yeah,
we need to win.
got to win.
Yeah.
Anything else is pretty much curtains, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it is. It's game over then at that point.
Yeah. Right, I think we're done. We've covered everything, haven't we?
No, I'm sure someone will say something.
Yeah,
But yeah, as
yeah,
far as I'm aware,
that's
we've
true.
covered everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Hopefully West Ham can beat Arsenal tomorrow, because that would just be hilarious. And it would
Take
be,
points off them would do me.
yeah, but
Just
it'd
drop
be
points.
so
It'd be
Arsenal
funny,
if that
yes.
happened.
Pure Arsenal, yeah. They're good with them. They seem to play every Sunday at 2 o'clock on Sky.
Yeah, yeah, they
They,
do.
ne- they
There
always
is-
seem,
Most of that's because of the Europe thing, but
but they're always on Sky as well.
Mhm.
They're always on. They were on last week against United, for fuck's sake. Yeah, they'll want a performance after that as well. So hopefully they can just, not that I consider Arsenal a challenger. I just want Arsenal to be shit.
That's it. Especially after last week, I
Yeah.
want them to just do
Put
an
'em-
Arsenal and fall flat in the faces.
If they do, I'll be sniffing out the window to smell the pure and distilled Arsenal. Guarantee it.
And on that note, yeah, we'll end it. So, yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week after the Brentford game. So until then, yeah, we'll catch you soon.
Well, the best word I can say, but will describe this, was boom. Woo, what was this? It was really good.